Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where your spine and the back of your neck can sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. You would kindly, gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on your mat, or perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I would like to talk about is light. The winter solstice is this Thursday, the 21st. And the shortest day of the year is actually long on traditions, all celebrating the end of darkness and the return to light. Yule, or pronounced Yule, was a celebration observing winter solstice and the rebirth of the sun. Many of the Yule traditions still exist. For example, in many European countries at Christmas time, a portion of a Yule log is burned each night from Christmas Eve to the 12th night. Other celebrations at this time of year involve fire and candlelight. Hanukkah is the lighting of 8 candles over 8 days. And this year, 2023, it started on December 7th. Lucia, Saint Lucia Day, is celebrated in Scandinavian countries, specifically Sweden. And a young girl wears a crown of 4 to 8 candles. And that's always on the 13th, this past Wednesday. Diwali is a Hindu festival of lights, and that's celebrated over 5 days. And it's according to the lunar calendar, so that really shifts greatly throughout the year. And this year, it actually started in November 12th. Kwanzaa is the lighting of 7 candles over 7 days when the 7 principles of African heritage, which are and Nguzo Saba, are discussed. And that is always December 26th through January 1st. And Advent is the lighting of 4 candles over 4 weeks to celebrate hope, peace, love, and joy. And that started this year on December 3rd and will continue to Christmas Eve. So for this morning's celebration, to celebrate light, there's actually a meditation, a guided meditation I'd like to do with you. And it's called Light. So if you would kindly sit again with your spine and back of your neck nice and tall and open, and bring your hands into prayer pose, Anjali Mudra. You can close your eyes if it works better for you to visualize this, or have them slightly open. Like to have you bring your awareness to the sense of energy rising from the base of your spine and out through the top of your head. Energy rising from the base of your spine, on up through your spine, and out the top of your head. Imagine this energy like a warm white light beaming out to the sky. Gently inhale, and as you inhale, raise your hands in that prayer pose past your face and slowly bring them overhead through that beam of light that is coming from your spine. Ground yourself and reach, creating space all through you. And then as you exhale, slowly extend your hands out and down, drawing a sense of that light out and around you as you bring your hands to rest alongside you. Feel a sense of being warmly enveloped, as though you are in a cocoon of nourishing light. And bring your palms together in Anjali Mudra. And just stay in this light, this cocoon of nourishing light. Breathing gently, creating a sense of deepening self-awareness and acceptance of this perfect moment. You may open your eyes now, and I will join you on the mat. We'll start our asana practice this morning with some shoulder shrugs as usual. Again, just kind of loosening up our upper body, around our neck, around our chest. We can inhale as we roll our shoulders up and exhale as we roll them down. And then switch directions, gently keeping the tension away, trying to melt it away, as opposed to winding it up. Then we'll do a few sun breaths and chest openers. So bring your fingertips to the side. We're going to inhale, bringing our hands up overhead. Palms come together. And then exhale, bring your palms to heart center. And then we're going to open up our palms on the inhale. With goalpost arms. Really opening up your chest and kind of just bringing your arms back as far as that's comfortable. And then bringing them back together again. Inhale up overhead and exhale down. Just let them float back down to the mat. We'll do that a few more times. So sweeping your hands up on the inhale, big inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, opening up your arms, opening up your chest. Exhale, bringing them back together again. Inhale up. And exhale down. And one last time. Inhale, deep, deep inhale. Palms come together. Exhale, palms come to heart center. Inhale, open up your palms. And exhale, closing them together. Inhale up, overhead. And then bringing your hands back down slowly to the mat. And if you have your legs crossed, you may want to just set one side by side as opposed to having them crossed over at the shin. We're going to do a few forward folds. We're going to gently walk our hands forward until you find that sweet spot. And breathing as you go. Inhale as you walk, and then exhale just to kind of release down. Find that sweet spot where you can then breathe and have a nice flow of breath. And then we'll walk our hands over to the right side. Hopefully your right leg's in front of your left leg. If not, walk your hands over to the other side. And then to the point where we can almost get our torso over our right thigh. And then we'll walk our hands back toward the knee. As we reach the knee will lift up, pointing up to the sky. Wrap our left arm around our right knee, sending our right fingertips in the back of our hip and doing a nice gentle twist to the right. Few deep inhales and exhales here. And then come back to center and switch legs. The other one going in top or in front, not on top, in front. And then slowly walk your hands out again. Inhale as you walk and exhale, just releasing down into the pose. And then we'll walk the hands over to the side so that our torso is just about over our thigh, and walk the hands back to the knee, lifting the knee up, wrapping our arm around the knee and sending opposite fingertips behind the hips. Nice gentle twist to the left. And then come back to center. We'll come back up on, not back, we'll come up on our hands and knees. to tabletop. So our wrists are right below our shoulders, knees right below our hips. Fingertips are spread out, kind of gripping the mat. Index finger facing up toward the top. We'll do a few head nods. So with your back of your neck and spine nice and long and straight, then we're going to turn our head, look to the right, and then bring it back, and then turn our head to the left, and bring it back. We'll maintain that nice even distribution of weight in our hands. I'll do that a few more times. So turn your head to the right, and then back to center. Inhale, turn your head to the left, and back to center. Exhale, turn your head to the right, back to center, and to the left. Nice and gentle movements, keeping that space nice and open between your shoulders and your ears. Then we'll go into cat-cows. We're going to drop our head down, our tailbone down, rounding our back, really stretching out that spine for cat, and then lifting our head and tailbone up, sending our gaze straight ahead for cow. And exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head and tailbone down, nice deep stretch. Inhale, come back up, lifting the head, sending the gaze straight ahead, tailbone up. Exhale, rounding the back for cat. Inhale, lifting the head and tailbone up for cow. Just do a few more of these, really synchronizing your breath, deep inhales, deep exhales with your movement. Getting that flow of energy all through your spine. And then come back to tabletop. We're going to kickstand our left foot outside of the mat and extend our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. Our left wrist is right below our left shoulder. We're going to do a few modified planks with leg lifts. So we're going to sweep our right hand all the way up to the sky, and as we bring that up to the sky, we'll lift our right leg up to the sky, and then bring it back down. We'll do that a couple more times. So sweeping our hand gently up as we lift our leg up, and then back down. And one last time, sweeping our hand up, leg comes up, and then back down. And we'll do that on the other side, coming back to tabletop. Realign yourself, make sure your weight's evenly distributed. Kickstand your right foot out, sending your left foot down to the bottom of the mat. Bring your toe, right wrist is right below the right shoulder. And we'll sweep our left hand up, lifting our left leg up, sending our gaze up to our hand, and then back down again. And sweeping our hand back up again, lifting our leg back up. And nice gentle flow, both hand and leg come back down. And one last time, sweeping our hand up, leg comes up. And then back down again. Come back to tabletop. And then send our hips down to our ankles, coming into child's pose. Just stretching out our arms in front. And then we're going to come back up to tabletop, tuck our toes under, walk our hands back toward our feet. Here comes our guest. Hello, pushing down into the balls of our feet, lifting up to mountain pose. I think he does that intentionally. So for mountain pose, we have our toes facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to lift our toes up, spreading them apart, bringing them back down to the mat, lifting our heels up off the mat, and then bringing them down and really feeling that connection to the earth, that stability, that stillness, that strength. Legs are nice and straight and strong. Gentle bend in the knees. Navel's tucked to the spine, elongating back and the back of the neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Our chin is just tucked ever so slightly in, again, creating that nice long back of the neck. Crown of our heads reaching up to the sky. We'll sweep our hands up overhead. And exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, down to the floor, bending our knees as we go to support our lower back. And just check in here for a moment. All was good today. And then inhale, lifting our hands to our shins, flattening out our back, sending our gaze straight down for half forward fold. And then sending the crown of our head down toward the floor for forward fold. And just let yourself hang here, let gravity take over for a moment. And then inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come up overhead. And as they come up overhead, we're going to rise up onto our tippy toes. And then bring our hands down with control. And as we bring our hands down, we'll bring our heels back down to the mat. Inhale, sweeping our hands up. As we go up slowly, lifting up onto our tippy toes as our hands go up. And then slowly coming back down, bringing our heels back down to the mat with control. And one last time, sweeping our hands all the way up, coming up onto our tippy toes. And then back down, slowly with control, lowering our heels back down to the mat. And keep sending your hands down as they go down toward the mat, bending your knees as you go. And then inhale, bring your hands to your shins, flattening out your back. Elbows are tucked in. And then sending the crown of your head down toward the mat. And inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Do a few side stretches. So bring the right hand down to the right thigh. Slide it down toward the right knee. Nice crescent moon to the right. Inhale, come back up again. Send the left hand down to the left thigh, sliding it down toward the left knee. Crescent moon to the left. I don't know if anybody saw those gorgeous crescent moon last night. And inhale, coming back up. One more time on the right. Sliding your hand down toward your knee. And letting that right hand support you and bringing your hand back up again. In your stretch. And then coming back up again. Both hands come back down to the mat, bending your knees as you go. Support your lower back. Inhale, bringing your hands to your shins. And then exhale, sending the crown of your head down toward the mat. And then we're going to stay down here for a moment. We're going to place our left hand in front of our left foot. And then we're going to bend the left knee toward the left arm, keeping our right leg somewhat straight, again with a soft bend in the knee. And then sweeping our right hand all the way up to the sky, following it with our gaze if that's possible. Forward folds with a twist. And then bring that right hand back down. And we'll switch places. So the right hand goes in front of the right foot on the mat or on the floor. There's a bend in the right knee toward the right arm. Left leg is somewhat straight, maybe just a gentle bend in the knee. And then sweeping our left hand all the way up to the sky, following it with our gaze. And then bringing that left hand back down. Bring both hands to your shin, half forward fold, stretch out. Dropping the crown of your head down toward the mat. Forward fold. Then inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead as we come up and bring our palms together. Palms come to heart center. And then palms come to the back of our hips or supported back bend. So our feet are about hip width apart. Palms of our hands are on our hips, fingers pointing down. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked slightly toward our chest. And then we'll just drop our shoulders back. Nice, gentle back bend to the point where you can feel that flow of your breath. Either keep nice and flowing or start to get a little shallow. And if that's the case, just kind of come back up a little bit and let your hands support yourself in this pose. And then come back up. Well done, everyone. We'll move on. So, theme today is light. So there's several light things that we can access in our yoga. One is a sun salutation. There are 3 versions of sun salutation. I'm going to start off by doing salutation A, sun salutation A. We'll do that. And then we're going to go to starlight. So there's sunlight, there's starlight, and then there's going to be moonlight in this sequence. So we'll start with the sun salutation. Sweep your hands up overhead, reaching up to the sky, bringing both hands down to the mat. You can bend your knees, make it comfortable on your lower back. Then inhale, hands to the shin, half forward fold. Hands back down to the mat. and send both feet back to plank pose. Plank pose, your shoulders are right above your wrists, heels are pushing back, navel's tucked to your spine so that you don't have a saggy tummy. And then we'll slowly lower down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the side. Keep your hands where they are, and gently, slowly lift your chin and chest and push down your hands, coming up into cobra. And then tuck your toes under and lift your hips up into down dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment. Your arms are nice and straight and strong. Fingers are gripping the mat, index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Chest is reaching toward your thigh, elevating your hip. Both hips. And then we're going to slowly walk, taking baby steps up to our hands, coming into forward fold, lifting our hands to our shins, half forward fold, hands back to the mat for forward fold, and then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead, palms come together, palms come to heart center. And that's one round of sun salutation A. We'll do another one. So inhale, lifting our hands up to the sky, nice big stretch. Bringing our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees, both hands on the mat. Then both hands to our shins, straightening out our spine, back of our neck. And then both hands back down to the mat, sending both feet back to the bottom of the mat for plank pose. Navel's tucked to the spine, lowering down to the mat, knees, chest, chin, elbows tucked in. And then keeping the hands where they are, lifting the chin, then the chest, gently pushing in, coming up into cobra. Tucking the toes under, lifting the hips up into downward dog. And pedal out here for a moment. Hips are nice and high, creating nice V shape. And then we'll slowly walk our feet, baby steps to our hands, coming into forward fold. Hands to our shins, half forward fold, flattening out the back. And then hands down to the mat. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then we'll open up to the long side of the mat, coming into wide-legged stance. So our toes are going to point to the corners of the mat. Heels are tucked in at 45 degrees. We're going to sweep our hands up into star pose. So they're at a V. And then we're going to bend our knees, keeping our arms straight through this. We're going to bend our knees, coming down to goddess. And then coming back up again. And then we're going to bring our arms to shoulder height. Another variation of star, starlight. And then bend our knees. And then come back up straight. Nice, gentle, controlled movements. Bringing our arms back up to the V, star. Bending our knees, lowering our hips toward the mat. Coming back up again. Bringing our arms down to shoulder height. Bending our knees. And then coming back up again. And one last time in the V shape. Bending our knees. We'll come down, see how far you can come down, feel comfortable with. And then back up again, bringing our arms down to shoulder height and bending our knees again. And then back up again. And then we're going to pivot our feet so that we come into warrior two. So our arms can stay where they are. Front, I'm going to pivot to the left. So my left knee is over my left ankle. My right foot's nice and snug in the back of the mat. And my gaze is on my left fingertips. I'm really feeling the strength of this pose. A few deep breaths here. I'm going to straighten out my left leg. And I'm going to send my fingertips forward, and we're going to come into triangle pose. So I'm going to send the fingertips forward and then down. And I'm going to slide down my leg, coming down to the ankle or to the mat. And then I send my gaze up to my right hand for triangle pose. Traditional stars, kind of made out of triangle shapes. And then we'll come back up to warrior two. And then we'll bring both hands around, and we're going to come into runner's lunge. So pivot the back foot, bringing both hands down to the mat, framing your front foot. And we're going to go into, spoiler alert, going into half moon, but I'm going to have options for you along the way. So this is one option. In runner's lunge, you can either stay in this or sweep your hand, do the twist, sweeping your left hand up to the sky. So that's one option. And then moving toward half moon, I'm going to have you walk your hands forward and come into three-legged dog. So that's another option. And then while you're in three-legged dog, you can keep your left hand down and raise your right hand up for half moon. And bring both hand and foot back down. Bring your right foot to join your left. Forward fold. And then come back up to mountain. Hands overhead, arms, hands to heart center. And just take a breath, and we'll do that all on the other side. Well done, everyone. So again, we'll start with a sun salutation A, sweeping our hands up overhead, stretching, and then bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back, half forward fold. And then bringing our hands down to the mat, sending both feet to the bottom of the mat, coming into plank pose. And then lowering down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping our elbows tucked in. And where our hands are landing, we're going to gently lift our chin and our chest, pushing down into our hands, coming up to cobra. And then tuck our toes under, lift our hips up to downward dog, and pedal out our dog here for a moment. And then taking baby steps, we'll walk our feet up to our hands, coming into forward fold, lifting our hands to our shins, flattening out our back, half forward fold, and then hands back down to the mat, forward fold, and sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. Take a deep breath here. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. Nice big stretch. And then bringing our hands down to the mat. Bending our knees as we go. Half forward fold, hands to shins, flat back. Hands back down to the mat. Extend both feet to the bottom of the mat, coming into plank pose. And then lowering down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keeping our elbows tucked to the side. Lifting the chin and chest. Pushing down to the hands, coming into cobra. Tucking the feet under, lifting the hips up into downward dog. And pedal out here for a moment. And then baby steps, walking our feet up to our hands. Forward fold. Half forward fold. Hands to shin, nice flat back. And then hands back down to the mat. Forward fold. Then sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then we'll open it up again to the wide side of the mat, coming in a wide-legged stance. Toes are pointing toward the corners, heels tucked in about 45 degrees. And we'll do our starlight. So sweeping our hands up to a nice V shape. We'll bring our knees, or tuck our knees, coming into a squat. And then inhale, back up again, lowering our arms to shoulder height. Another variation on starlight. Lowering our hips toward the mat, bending our knees as we go. Back up again. Bringing our arms back to the V shape. Bending our knees, lowering our hips. Then back up again. Lowering our arms to shoulder height. Bending our knees, lowering our hips down. Back up again. One last time. V shape. Best start ever. Bending our knees. Coming down. See how far you can be and still be comfortable. And then back up again. Arms at shoulder height. Bending the knees, lowering the hips. And then back up again. We're going to do warrior two on the other direction. So I'm going to point toward the right edge of my mat. My right knee is right over my right ankle. My left foot, and tweaking it to get it nice and snug in there. Arms are at shoulder height. Chest is open to the long side of the mat. I'm just feeling that strength in this pose. And then straightening out the front leg, we'll go into triangle. Stretching our right hand forward, bringing it down, sliding it along the leg to the point where it gets to a comfortable spot where you can lift your left arm up to the sky, sending your gaze up to it. And then coming back up to warrior two. And then we're going to bring both hands to the short end of the mat. Pivoting on the back foot, coming down into runner's lunge. And again, you can have your version. So you can plant your left hand down, sweeping your right hand up. One version. Or kind of lift your left foot up, walking your hands forward, coming into three-legged dog. And while you're at three-legged dog, you can come into half moon, lifting your left hand up to the sky. And then bringing hand and foot back down, coming into forward fold. Then sweeping your hands all the way up. Overhead, palms come to center, or palms come together, palms come to center. Anjali Mudra. Well done, everyone. And then bring our pinky toe to the edge of the mat. Heels are tucked in at 45 degrees. We'll slowly lower down to the mat, coming into wide-legged squat. And our elbows are resting comfortably on the inner part of our knees. Palms are together, and you can send your palms down toward the mat for a little additional stretch. And then bring our sit bones down on the mat. And we'll roll down to the mat, and you can use your choice of knees bent, knees straight, or tucking your hands underneath. Today, I think I am going to keep my knees bent and slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. And then bring my knees to my chest, give a nice gentle hug. And I'm gonna rock my back or rock my legs so that I'm massaging my lower back. And then take your toes, pointing your toes, draw nice big circles, nice big full moons for additional back massage. You can go in one direction, and then when you want, you can reverse the direction. And then we'll bring both our feet down to the mat. And our knees are about hip width apart. Just feel, try to bring your lower back down to the mat. Bringing your heels close to your hip bones. Palms are alongside of you, face down, so that you can be supported. And we'll do a few cat-cows into bridges here. So we're gonna do our cat is by tucking our navel to the spine, creating that bowl shape. And then exhaling. It's the reverse of when we're on our hands and knees. Exhale, we're going to create a little bit of an arch in the back, all the while keeping our hips on the mat. And then inhaling, we're going to bring a bowl shape back for cat. And then exhaling for cow. And then inhale for cat. So you have that round bowl shape. Then push down into your feet, lifting your hips up to the sky, coming into bridge. We'll create bridges, bridging the dark days back to the light days. Then slowly lowering back down to the mat, touching each vertebrae as you go down. And we'll do that a couple more times. So tucking navel in to cat. Exhale, creating an arch for cow. Inhale for cat. Exhale for cow. Inhale for cat. Push down into your heels, into your feet, lifting your hips up toward the sky. Seeing if you can create maybe even a deeper arch here for your bridge. If you'd like, you can interlace your hands underneath your hips. And then slowly lowering back down, one vertebrae at a time. And then one more round. Cat, where we tuck our navel to our spine. Cow, creating a bit of an arch. Cat on the inhale. Cow on the exhale. Cat on the inhale. And pushing down, lifting our hips up to the sky, keeping our knees parallel with one another. Gaze is right up to the stars, right up to the moon, right up to the sun, all that light coming down on us. And then slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time. And bring your knees to your chest, give them a nice gentle hug. And then we're going to send our arms out, shoulder height, dropping our knees to the right for reclined twist. Sending our gaze to our left fingertips. And then slowly returning your head back to center. Inhale, lifting your knees back to center. Then exhale, lowering your knees to the left. And then gently turning your head to the right. Look at your right fingertips. And slowly turning your head back to center. Lifting your knees back to center. Then extend your feet down to the bottom of the mat. Prepare for Shavasana. Heels are to the corners. Just kind of maybe do a few stretches and then releasing. Inhale, stretch, and then exhale, release. Bring your arms alongside you, palms facing up, having a little bit of a space between your torso and your arms. Taking deep breaths and just letting go, easing yourself into the mat. Letting the earth support you. Gently turning one corner of your mouth up and then the other corner up. A smile is like sunlight. This morning, I have for you the winter solstice blessing. May you find peace in the promise of the solstice night, that each day forward is blessed with more light, that the cycle of nature, unbroken and true, brings faith to your soul and well-being to you. Rejoice in the darkness, in the silence find rest, and may the days that follow be abundantly blessed.